भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकीम्
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकम्।
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथानिधं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिताश्रीशाखादिदांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त
नमस्तुते।
सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवीं नमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते लोकनाथ स्वामिनामिने। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गुरुवाणी प्रचारिणे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य संस्कृतारिणे। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we were going through this beautiful section of Lord Narasimhadeva and how Prahlad Maharaj is, became a devotee of the Lord. And then Prahlad Maharaj was instructing these transcendental instructions to the demoniac students. So nice. From the previous chapter, we were seeing all those. And then after the instructions of the Prahlad Maharaj, all these demoniac the children, the students, along with, studying along with the Prahlad Maharaj, completely transformed. And then they were surprised and asked, how did you get such a knowledge, such a vast knowledge about everything? So the problem in this world, dear devotees, is that ignorance is the root cause of our suffering and the problem. From the ignorance or from the darkness. We know that the beautiful verses from the scripture, Asadoma Sadgamaya, it's from the Vedas. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Murtyurma Amrudam Gamaya. This was the prayers and the Vedic understanding that the prayer is like that, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Asat. From the Asat means temporary nature. Sat means eternal, Asat means not eternal. Everything is temporary. Oh Lord, praying to the Lord, oh Lord, please lead me from this temporary nature, from the Asat to Sat. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Please lead me, please take me. Hare Krishna, can you put on a mute?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, by noise. Asadoma Sadgamaya. This should be our prayer. So we are in the darkness. Then Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Tamas means Andhakar, darkness. So we know that Prahlad Maharaj is also compared this world is Andhakopa, the dark well. So we are all in this dark well. So we are all in darkness. Or darkness means we are all in ignorance. The one who is ignorant, when there is no light and there is no knowledge, so there is Vidya and Avidya. Vidya is light, the knowledge. Avidya means darkness or Andhakar. So root cause of our problem is Avidya. We don't know. When we are blind, when there is an Andhakar, we cannot see anything. When we are in a room, there is no light. There is no sunlight. There is no light at all. So we cannot see anything. Similarly, when our consciousness, our intelligence, our mind, everything is in ignorance, there is no knowledge there, then what happens? We cannot see anything properly. So then slowly there is some light comes, so we can see it. So similarly, when our heart, when our chitta, our consciousness is contaminated, is covered by all the impurities, then we don't see anything. A mirror is covered with the dust, we don't see anything. So similarly, our heart, our consciousness, everything is covered, then we don't see anything. So that's why Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. We pray to the Lord that, oh Lord, please lead me from this ignorance, from this darkness to the light. Tamasoma Jyotir. Jyotir means light. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Natad Bhasayado Surya, na Shashango, na Pavagaha, Idigatva na Nivartande Tadama Paramam Mama. Krishna says that Natad Bhasada, Bhasadayo Surya. Bhasa means light, you know. So Abhas means, there is no light. That means everything is darkness. So Bhasa, that's why Surya is known as Bhaskara. Another name of Surya is called Bhaskara. Bhaskara means one who is enlightened, one who is such a, the light, the effulgence, the light. So, Nattat Bhasayedo Surya, there is no light from the sun in the spiritual realm. So that means there is no darkness. Where sun is needed when there is a darkness. So in order to light up everything. But in the spiritual realm, there is no need of any light because it's already lightened up by the transcendental knowledge, by the Krishna's potency, the spiritual potency. So when there is spiritual potency, then everything is lightens up. There's no need of there is no darkness at all. So that's why Krishna he Surya Saman, Maya he Andhaka. Krishna is like a Surya. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, is like a sun. It's everything lightens up. Full of effulgence, full of light, full of knowledge. Krishna hi Surya Saman, Maya hi Andhaka. So we are in the darkness. We are in the ignorance. That means we are under the influence of Maya. So very important to understand this fact, dear devotees. So if you don't see, some people say there is no Lord, there is nothing beyond my perspective, my world, this world, I am the Lord. This is all Maya. This is all under the spell of that material energy influence. When we are covered with this material energy, then we don't see anything else. So that's why Maya hi Andhaka. So this Andhaka, Andhakupa, that's why Prahlad Maharaj says this material world is Andhakupa, a deep, dark well. So when we are in the deep, dark well, we don't see anything else. We just see ourselves. So this is our root cause of our suffering in this world. When we are in the Maya or when we are in the Andhakar, when we are in the darkness, we don't see anything else. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is giving this transcendental knowledge. When Prahlad Maharaj informed about the things which are beyond our, perception, which is beyond this material perception, material understanding, then all the children become so stunned. They all transform to a Vaishnavas completely. So these two teachers, Sanda and Amarka, they were surprised. How come this little boy Prahalad is so knowledgeable and they understand? Then they couldn't actually express it. They just was hidden and they were also afraid of Hiranyakashipu. And if Hiranyakashipu knew this, then what would happen? They would be killed because of Hiranyakashipu will think that, these teachers, Chanda and Amarka of sons of Shukracharya, taught Prahlad. So they were so stunned and surprised and afraid of Hiranyakashipu. So these children were so much surprised and stunned, and they asked this question, how did you get all this information? So then Prahlad Maharaj was saying this to the children, that, what was his past. So that's where Prahlad Maharaj learned all this from the mother's womb. This transcendental knowledge. Dear devotees, listen very carefully. This is for our good and goodness, for our perfection, for our own benefit. The one who engaged in Krishna consciousness, hear attentively and realize this transcendental knowledge and then apply it in our life, that's the perfection of our life. So this was Prahlad Maharaj learned from the womb when Kayadu, the mother of Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu went to the forest for long duration of penance and austerities to get all these very different kinds of boons. And then Hiranyakashipu put Kayadu to the shelter of Narada Dev, Narada Muni. So when we look at Narada Muni is a devotee. A devotee does not have any enemy or a friend. Devotee always sees everybody as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So Hiranyakashipu had a great trust with Narada Dev. So when Hiranyakashipu went to the forest, then Kayadu was alone. And a Stree, a woman, should not be alone at any point of time. That's why Pida Rakshadi Kaumare, Bhartro Rakshadi Yavane, Putro Rakshadi Vardhakhe, Nasri Swadandri Markadi. Because of that, woman seems to be protected. So then Hiranyakashipu put under the shelter of Narada Dev, Kayadu, under the shelter of Narada Dev. And then this time Kayadu was carrying the Prahlad. So when the devotee Narada Dev and the Kayadu was under the shelter and all the atmosphere, and we know that even a little bit of association of a devotee, how that soul can be transformed. Then the soul within the womb of Mother Kayadu was completely pure anyway. So, dear devotees, purity is the force. Srila Prabhupada says the pillars of the purity is the force. When we are pure, everything is clear. That's a force that will give us all the strength. The strength of chanting the holy name, the strength of hearing the, Bhagavad Kada, that is, Hiranyakashipu or the Narasimhadev Kada, the strength of engaging in the devotional service, the strength of associating with the devotees, strength of all the various other services, distributing books, all that, everything comes where it's come from. It's come from that transcendental purity. Pure means the Supreme Lord or spiritual. There is nothing that which is more purer than the Supreme Lord. So we know that Arjuna is saying this one. Param Brahm, Param Dham, Pavitram. Pavitram means pure. You are pure. So holy name is pure. Anything which is related to Krishna is pure. Paramam Pavitram Bhavan. So like that, when we say the Keval Ashtagam, Pavane Bhyo Bhi Pavanam. So Madhuram Madhure Bhyo, Pavane Bhyo Bhi Pavanam. The holy name is very pure. So similarly, anything that which is in relationship with the Supreme Lord is very pure. So like that, when the devotee become pure, then whoever is touches with that purity will also become pure. So like that, when the Prahlad was in the womb of Mother Kayadu, had the association of Narada Dev, and then with that association, the Prahlad within the womb become completely pure. And when Narada Dev was speaking about every day, of course, devotee always speaks, right? Punya Sravana Kirtanam, always hear the transcendental glories of the Supreme Lord, right? Punya Sravanam. This, this glories of the Supreme Lord, Bhagavad Kada, everything is supreme. The Punya Sravana is very purifying. It's purifying the heart. Everything purifies. That's why, dear devotees, we request everybody to join, hear the satsang, hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. So this way we get purification. What is actually purifying? All our impurities and the contamination. It was completely covered our consciousness. So when it is completely covered our consciousness, we don't see anything. So we are in ignorance. So when we hear attentively, when we chant the holy name, when we engage in the service, so we get the purification. So when we get the purification only, that we can see things clearly and properly. So then Prahlad was in the womb of Mother Kayadu, had the association of Narada Dev. Narada Dev was always singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. So by this, hearing this, Prahlad was completely transformed. So in the previous chapter, I think that other
Prabhuji, no voice.
Prabhuji, you got muted.
Okay, is it good?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So when the Prahlad was in the womb of Mother Kayadu in the association of Naradadev. So then Naradev learned a lot. That's what this previous chapter, chapter 7, was completely describing about the what Prahlad Maharaj learned in the mother's womb. So it goes like this. Then, in Narada Muni's ashrama, Kayadu prayed for the protection of the baby in her womb. And Narada Muni reassured her and gave her instructions on spiritual knowledge. So our fearfulness, right? Always we have fear, abhaya, bhaya, and then we had abhaya. So one who is in the shelter of the Supreme Lord is always abhaya, means there is no fear. But one who is not in the shelter of the Supreme Lord is always in fear, because of that's the nature of this material world, the duality. The moment we have this happiness, and when we get a time that we are going to lose it, that happiness and everything that what we have, we are immediately fearful of everything. So this is the material world, the nature of the material world. But one who takes a shelter of the Supreme Lord is Abhaya. That's why Srila Prabhupada is known as Abhaya Charanaravinda, Bhakti Vedanta, Abhaya, fearlessness, because of one who takes a shelter of the Supreme Lord. Those who are in the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, they are always fearless. They don't worry about anything in this world. They are always conscious of the Supreme Lord. So then Kayadu was very much afraid, but when took the shelter of the Narada Muni and praying for the protection of the Supreme, of the baby. And Narada Muni reassured her and gave her instructions on spiritual knowledge. So when we have the spiritual understanding, when we have the knowledge of the Supreme Lord and devotional services, then only we became abhaya, then we become fearless, dear devotees. Always remember this. Taking advantage of those instructions, Prahlad Maharaj, although a small baby within the womb, listened very carefully. The spirit soul is always apart from the material body. So this is the Prahlad Maharaj learned when in the mother's womb. So Ardadevi instructed all this. The spirit soul is always apart from the material body. So very important understanding one should have. This is the basic understanding, and this is the perfect understanding one should have, the spirit soul. And there is a plane of the spirit soul, or called Atmiya. That's why we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, which is completely spiritual. So we are also spiritual, but we are contaminated, covered by these impurities of this material world. So we should be always aware of that. We are not this material body. We are not part of this material world. We are belongs to the superior world or spiritual world. We are belongs to that superior nature of the Supreme Lord, right? Apareyam idastamanyam prakrtim vidime param. The spirit soul is beyond this material energy or material body. So they are spirit soul. There is no change in the spiritual form of the living entity. So only the body is changing, right? The transformation is happening to the body from boyhood to youthhood. So as we say that dehino asmini yada dehe kaumaram yavanam jara dada dehandara praptar dhiras taprana mukhyadi. While the spirit soul going from embodied soul, going from the youthhood to boyhood to youthhood to old age, similarly at the time of death, this goes to another body. The spirit soul always same. It doesn't subject to the transformation. It's always pure and always, never changes. Well, there is no transformation for the soul, but everything is for the body. So this is another understanding Prahlad Maharaj had from the Narada Dev when he was in the mother's womb. The spirit soul is always apart from the material body. There is no change in the spiritual form of the living entity. Please keep this into your heart. There is no change in the spiritual form of the living entity. Any person above the bodily conception of life is pure and can receive transcendental knowledge. So who is really eligible to understand this transcendental knowledge, which is who is not in this material bodily conceptions of the life? Or if one is in the bodily conceptions of the life or the material bodily conception of the life, I mean, is the transcendental knowledge really get into him? because of there is a thick layer of impurities. So that's why when we hear, when we chant, what happens? It melts, it removes, it eradicates those barriers of that which restricts one to enter into that very pure spiritual level. So which eradicates. So that's why one should always ready to hear so that our impurities goes, then the transcendental knowledge get into their heart. So then we can understand this transcendental knowledge. The transcendental knowledge is devotional service. See that? One who has the transcendental knowledge, one who has the pure knowledge of the Supreme Lord, he will engage in the service of that, the Supreme Lord. So transcendental knowledge is devotional service. So devotional service is the supreme. So one who engages in the devotional service, we can say that he is in the pure, perfect knowledge of the Supreme Lord. The one who doesn't engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, he is not in the pure transcendental knowledge, but he is in the material knowledge. So there is a big difference between material knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is pure and complete. That's why it is known as Satyam Param Dhimahi. It's Satyam. It is pure, Param, supreme, Dhimahi, and that's the supreme absolute knowledge. That one has to have. So one can understand only this from the spiritual master and the devotee and from the Lord. So this is what has happened to the Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj in the womb of Mother Kayadu, and then understanding and associating and hearing, even in the within the womb of a mother, a soul can understand, soul can realize, soul can hear it. That's why, dear devotee, is very important that a person, a woman is conceived, a child, and then the woman should hear these glories of the Supreme Lord regularly. So I was giving this example. We know that we had a devotee couple who was in our Bhakti Vriksha. They were not consuming for some time, and then after started to hear and chant, read the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and then it's got by the mercy and this Mataji got conceived, and Mataji was keep hearing and reading Bhagavatam and listening Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name, and then the baby, the child came out, and it was a wonderful child and wonderful baby, and within just 4.5 years, and this little child completely by hearted the entire Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, an understanding of everything. It's like a Prahlad Maharaj. And then because of hearing this, and we noticed that many kids, those who have heard the glories of the Lord in the mother's womb, they all became such a nice, wonderful, peaceful. The babies they have this transcendental knowledge within themselves, even though they don't express it, but they have this understanding and within themselves. So they are completely covered, they are completely under the protection of the Supreme Lord. The soul is pure, and then they came out as a pure. Yes, material energy influences them, but the core understanding in their heart will not go away, and this will be there. So in any way, one who hears this glories of the Supreme Lord holy name, and then chanting and all this spiritual, all these devotional services helps that the spirit soul within the womb, and they will become a wonderful child when they come out. So this is also another example. So Prahlad Maharaj became and heard this all transcendental knowledge from the Narada Muni. So this transcendental knowledge is devotional service. And Prahlad Maharaja, while living in the womb of his mother, received instructions in devotional service from Narada Muni. That's why Narada Muni, the Prahlad Maharaj said that to the all the children, that this 9 devotional service is everything. And Prahlad Maharaj says that Sravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Bhujana Sakhijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasa Bilakshare. So these 9 devotional services, Sravana Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, Pada Sevanam. So when children ask what is how to perform this, what is this service, devotional service? Prahlad Maharaj straight away said, what is devotional service? Sravanam is a devotional service. One should hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. Sravanam, one should always hear. Sravana Kirtana, one should chant and recite the glories of the Supreme Lord. So Sravanam, Kirtanam, glorification. Kirtana means glorification. Sravana means hearing about the Supreme Lord. And all the time. And this is what it is we should do. And the Bhagavatam is Punya Sravana Kirtanaha. Punya Sravanam. We should always that hear the Bhagavat from a Bhagavada, from a devotee. So Sravana Kirtana, then Vishnu Smarana. We should remember the Supreme Lord. This is also a service. This is also a Bhakti Yuda Sevanam. This is also a devotional service. Sravanam, always hear, always glorify the Supreme Lord, chant the holy name. Sravana Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana. Remember the Supreme Lord, Vishnu Smarana. And then Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam means engage physically in the service of the Lord. Physically, Pada Sevanam. So when we go to the temple, when we clean the temple, it is called Pada Sevanam. When we engage in the various other devotional services in the temple, it's all called Pada Sevanam. When you clean, when you set up, when you organize, when you cook, when you do anything for the Lord, it is all comes under the Pada Sevanam. Then Archanam. Archanam means offer the articles to the Lord. Like when you bring the flowers, we offer to the lotus feet of the Lord. It's called Archanam. We are offering the articles, various articles for the pleasure of the Lord. When you put the garland, right? Archanam. So this offering means Archanam, offering the articles to the Lord. Vandanam means paying obeisances to the Lord. So you should pay the obeisance to the Lord as soon as you enter into the temple. The Lord is right there. Don't think that, Lord is not there. So whenever we are in the temple, we should follow that etiquette. We went to the Vaishnava etiquette courses, how to enter, how to behave in the temple. So always remember that. So this is called service. When you offer the obeisance to the Lord and his devotees, this is a devotional service. This is a bhakti. This is the loving devotion. Bhakti means loving devotional service, not just the devotional service, which is loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Then we should we should engage ourselves in like that. So wherever with the devotees within the temple, whenever we have this consciousness of engaging the service, we are engaging, directly and indirectly in the service of the Lord. So when you enter, you should offer the obeisance to the Lord and always pay the obeisance to the Lord, even within the heart, even physically. That's called Vandanam. So you become the Dasya, you should be a servant of the Lord. So servant of the Lord is not that just servant, oh, I am the Daso, Dasa, Dasos me, and things like that. Don't do anything. I am a Das. When a person get initiated, when a devotee get initiated, then what happens? He get a title called Das. Das means I am the servant. Servant, not only that, servant of the Lord and the servant of the devotees and servant of everyone. So he never thinks that I'm the boss. I'm the, I'm the, superior, I'm senior, I'm that, I'm this. So everybody should give me the respect offering everything. No. As he says that, Amanina manadena tirtaniya sadahari. We should never expect any kind of respect in return or give always respect to the others and serve others in all respective manner. In whatever the capacity we can do, we should serve the others, the devotees, especially devotees and the lordships. This is called dasya. So we should always remember this. And when you have this title Dasya, or when you serve others, that's called Dasa, the title or Dasi, then he is also in the service of the Supreme Lord. It's called devotional service. Sakyam, one can be friendship with the Lord. We can see that Lord is like in the Vrindavan. So Lord is very much eager to come and receive the service like in a friendship in the Sakyaras. Sakyaras, Lord wanted to come, Lord wanted to receive that Sakyaras. Arjuna was a friend, Sakha, and all the cowherd boys in the Vrindavan is having a very Sakyaras, the mellow, which is the friendship, the mellow of the Sakya. So Krishna likes that. Krishna would like to receive. Krishna was playing with all of these gopas and the in the gopis in the Vrindavan with that Sakyaras, and from the friendship, the Lord receives that mellow. So Lord likes that. That's why Lord is also coming down to receive such rasa from his devotees. So Lord feels that. Lord is complete. But at the same time, in order to give pleasure to his devotees, because of he is always reciprocating. Lord is not that just okay, everybody worship me, worship me, worship me, so that. No. Lord returns. If we take one step, Lord takes 100 steps. That means if we put 1%, Krishna return back that 100%. This is the nature of Krishna. He's very reciprocating. That's why Krishna likes his devotees. The devotees are very dear to him. Because of this is the complete transcendental nature. Krishna is completely transcendental. And the transcendental nature of a devotee is to be with that supreme nature of the Supreme Lord. So then one becomes transcendental. When the transcendental nature, that's what is the complete compatibility of situations. So, but the material nature is incompatible situation. That's not the actual platform. Our real identity, our real platform, our reality is that we are belongs to the Supreme Lord. So we are part of the Supreme Lord. How a family, how a father and mother likes to live with his children or children with his family. That's a natural situation of a family. And that's a very harmonious, very happy and blissful, for a person with his family and the children and the parents. It's a very, very blissful condition. So a parent serves the child. And since the childhood, the parents is serving the child, right? It's not without any exceptions of that I should get it back. So similarly, the children are serving the parents. That is there anything that okay, any parent will think that okay, my child, I'm serving my child so much. I'm not, what is this? How is this is injustice to me that nobody thinks that because of the parent has a love for their child. Similarly, the children has the love for their parents. Never thinks that I'm serving my parent. I'm so why I should do this one, why I'm doing this. No, they are selflessly serving their parents because of there is a love. This is the definition of a love. That's why the supreme love, the supreme Lord is embodiment of the love. That's what is called the Madhurya Bhav. That's the ultimate, the topmost bhava, the topmost position, the Madhurya Bhav. That Madhurya Bhav, that everything is wonderful. That's blissful. That's why the Radhini potency, that the pleasure potency, this is the embodiment, the epitome of this pure love. That's why devotees are very dear because of they express their pure love for the Krishna. The pure love is the complete plane or completion or perfection means one who is in the pure loving devotional service with the Supreme Lord is the perfection or the perfect stage or the absolute stage. So then this way, then Prahlad Maharaj was teaching Sravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. One should completely surrender to the Lord. There is nothing that more important than the Supreme Lord in this world. Dear devotees, that's the stage, that's the devotional service. So one who takes the initiation means that beginning that we are practicing so that we can completely surrender ourselves to the Supreme Lord. Our Supreme Lord says that one should come to me. So this is what is very important fact. So Prahlad Maharaj learned this devotional service from the Narada Muni, from his spiritual master. Then, yeah, devotional service from Narada Muni. Any person engaged in the service of the Lord through the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master is immediately liberated and being free from the clutches of Maya, he is relieved all ignorance and material desires. So this is the lessons, this is the learning that Prahlad Maharaj had in the womb of Mother Kayadu from the Narada Muni. And what is that? Any person engaged in the service of the Lord through the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master is immediately liberated. So we should go as per the direction of a devotee. Dear devotees, always remember that. Don't do anything whimsically because of when a devotee, a senior devotee or a spiritual master instructs us, okay, chant the holy name, we should do that. We should engage in the service of the Lord. That's why if spiritual master is giving the second initiation. What is that? So that the spiritual master is allowing the devotee, the disciples to engage in the devotional service, personal service to the Supreme Lord. So when we go through as per the direction of the spiritual master, it is authorized. Otherwise, what is called whimsically when we do it, so that means when we do it, that means because of our pride, our false ego, our ahangar, then it is never comes as a pure devotional service. So there is a difference between pure devotional service. So devotional service in goodness, devotional service in passion, devotional service also in ignorance. Always remember this. Then beyond these modes of nature is called pure devotional service. So when a person does the devotional with the ignorance, he is with his false ego. Oh, I will do this, I will do my own way, I will do this way, my own way. I don't care about anything else. I just want to be just my own. I just wanted to do it myself. And then this way that the devotee thinks. Then what happened? Then that is the devotional service is ignorance. Then for the name, fame, sake of it, prestige and pride and puja and the pradishta is all the likes that. Similarly, there is in the passion as well. So much attachment. Oh, I will not do any other. I will do this one. No matter what, who says, what says, no, no, I will do this. No, no, it should not be like that. So it should be under the instructions of a spiritual master. It should be under the instructions of a pure devotee of the Lord. So bona fide spiritual master. So then one who does that, he does not need to worry about anything. He is immediately liberated. So one who follows a devotee and under the shelter of a spiritual master, he is a liberated person, dear devotees. That's why this taking the shelter of a spiritual master, a guru, is very important because of it is authorized. Then we get the potency, we get this shakti from the Lord. This we get this shakti to overcome the Maya. So we get the transfer, that shakti, the spiritual potency transferred through a spiritual master, a guru. Guru, we already learned that there is a guru which comes as externally as well as internally. Externally, this guru, the Krishna, guru is Krishna himself or the representative of Krishna. So guru is considered as a representative of Krishna or carries the potency of the Supreme Lord. When we take a shelter of a devotee or a guru or a spiritual master, then what happens? That potency transforms. And where it's come from? From Balaram, the service, Adi Guru. Adi Guru is Balaram. Balaram is meant for the service, Sevaka Bhagavan, right? Sevaka Bhagavan and Sevya Bhagavan is Krishna and Sevaka Bhagavan is Balaram. So service, devotional service. So if we get the devotional service through that Balaram, that's what is. We are all in the footsteps of the, or we are just assisting that Balaram. We are just assisting that spiritual master. We are not doing our own. Okay, we are skipping that spiritual master and the Balaram. We don't do. So we follow. We have to follow that instructions of the spiritual master who is representing the Balaram and the potency, that the spiritual potency or chit potency or Sandhini potency. This is nothing but the knowledge potency. This is chit potency is nothing but the service potency or the bhakti shakti, right? That's called the bhakti shakti. So bhakti shakti is there, and then also at the same time there is the devotional potency. That's a bhakti shakti, and which comes to us. So otherwise, when we are not connected to the acharyas and the paramparas, whimsically, this is actually, we call it as mode of ignorance. There is no proper way of channelizing the bhakti shakti. So we should have that bhakti shakti from our spiritual master, from the devotees or the senior devotees, or whomever, your shiksha guru, your the diksha guru, or your like that. So this way, so that's why Srila Prahlad Maharaj is very much emphasizing on this factor. So Narada Muni was out of the compassion to the devotees and the spirit souls. Narada Muni is transferring this bhakti shakti to Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj completely transformed, and following that the same instructions, then Prahlad Maharaj is anyway completely liberated. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj is we can completely take the follow the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj similarly, so that we can also completely connect it. So we should always follow under the instructions of the spiritual master or a or a shiksha guru or a diksha guru. We should do that. Not too much should do our own whimsical. So when we are qualified, dear devotees, when we are sincere service to the Lord and his devotees, everything will manifest accordingly. No worries about it. So Lord will arrange, devotees will arrange, because of that bhakti shakti will come to us. So that once we are taken, when we follow the instructions in the path of this devotional service, it is mentioned that that person is completely liberated. And then, and being free from the clutches of Maya. Liberation means being free from the clutches of Maya. That means Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Mama Mahatma Namstu Maham Bharatam Devim Prakriti Masadah. Mahatma, such devotees, such pure devotees are under my protection, or Devim Prakriti. Devim Prakriti means, Srila Prabhupada says that in the purport, that we are under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. So there is Maya Prakriti, that is the external nature. And Devim Prakriti means the internal nature. That internal nature is nothing but it is the Srimati Radharani. That's why the meaning of Hare. We are addressing to the Radharani Hare to engage us in the devotional service. So this is the Devim Prakriti. One who chants the holy name, pure devotional platform, pure devotees, they are all under the spell of, under the Devim Prakriti, or under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. So how do we get it? That we get through the Bhakti Shakti, the spiritual potency that comes through the Lord Balaram, so that we are engaged in the service of the Lord. But who is the epitome of the service? Srimati Radharani. So naturally, that devotee will come under the shelter of Radharani. Then Radharani guides those devotees so that we are engaged in the proper devotional service. So when we are under the protection of the devotees, we are under the shelter of the devotees. That is the right platform. That's a perfect platform, perfect way that understanding that one who is under the shelter of the Lord Balaram, one who is under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. So when we take the initiation, when we follow the instructions of the devotees, following the instructions of Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, that means that we are on the right path. So always remember this. So Prahlad Maharaj gives this. So one should always follow the instructions of the spiritual master and immediately liberated. One who is liberated means free from the Maya, the clutches of this material world, and he is relieved from the ignorance and the material desires. So, as always mentioned, the root cause of our suffering and the problem is ignorance. When we are in ignorance, we have so much of material hankering and we don't know what we are doing, but we just flow. We just flow in the directions of this Maya, where we takes the Maya takes us. That's it. So much people are addicted to so many things in this world. They cannot come out of it. So much addicted. So why? Because of Maya. They are under the full control of Maya, the material energy. They cannot come out of it. This is very difficult for them. But on the other hand, a devotee, that means they are free from the clutches of Maya. They don't have much hankering or the much material desires in this world. So regardless of the material condition in which one is situated, one can achieve this perfection. This is the teachings of, this is the Prahlad Maharaj learned in the womb from the Narada Muni. So in whatever the conditions, material conditions we are situated in this material world, but one can achieve perfection. So that's our exact, our nature and the purpose of our existence. Devotees come to that perfectional stage. How that one can come? By the loving, engaging in the loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So devotional service is not depend on the material activities of austerity, penance, mystic yoga, or piety. Even without such asset, one can achieve devotional service through the mercy of a pure devotee. So, dear devotees, this was the learning that the Prahlad Maharaj learned in the womb of Mother Kayadu from the Narada Muni. If there is a mercy, if there is association of the devotee and a mercy of the devotee, then one can come to this platform. So devotee, what the devotee showers, devotee is paradukha dukhi. He is always ready to give this mercy to every living entity. That's the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nothing but give this mercy, this bhakti shakti to everyone, each and every living entity, so that they will be liberated from these clutches of this ignorance of this material world. So one who's the mercy, when the mercy is there, that's why it says that sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kaya, Levamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. That means even a little bit of association of a devotee, then one can attain this sarva siddhi in this world. What is that sarva siddhi? Then he can completely pure, completely transform from this material dirtiness, material ignorance, material darkness, this andhakupa. Then he can come out from this andhakupa, dark well, and he can situate very well in our original, real, transcendental nature. That's called the transcendental nature is nothing but he can be Sat Chit Anand. He is completely eternal and full of knowledge and potency, and then he will be completely in blissful state. So a devotee, when a devotee like Abhaya, he will be always in a very, very blissful condition in this world. So no matter what. So this was the learning that Prahlad Maharaj had in the mother's womb. Then we come to that, the next chapter, nothing but which is that the Hiranyakashipu slaying the Narasimhadev slaying the king of demon is Hiranyakashipu. So this is very well explained here in this. We are going based on the Srimad Bhagavatam, seventh canto. Seventh canto was the learning of Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. Eighth chapter, seventh canto, eighth chapter, which is say Lord Narasimhadev slays the king of demons. So it is mentioned that following the instructions, all the sons of demons became attached to Lord Vishnu. See that? So they completely enlightened. Sadhu Sangha, even the association of Prahlad Maharaj, a pure devotee, all these demoniac kids were completely devoted to the Lord Vishnu, attached to Lord Vishnu. The devotees, this is called perfection. that our human form of life is nothing but to develop that attachment for the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, nothing else. So all this process is nothing but, so we have sadhana bhakti, we are sadhakas. Sadhana bhakti means practicing devotee. Then what happens? From the sadhana, we develop that attachment for the Lord. That's called raga. Raga anuga bhakti or raga bhakti, raga anuga bhakti, ragatmiga bhakti. This is the perfection of our sadhana. So we should practice. So when we develop this practice, when we practice this devotional service, the devotees, then we develop that attachment. So that's the perfection. So all the children, just by hearing, just by association of the pure devotee of the Lord Prahlad Maharaj, all these kids were transformed to the and attached to Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When this attachment became pronounced, their teachers, Sanda and Amarka, were very much afraid, and these boys would become more and more devoted to the Lord. So this is what it is. So devotee, those who are completely pure, transformed, they will not have any fear. That's why abhaya. So every moment they will be increased. They will be always relishing that devotional bliss, and they engage in the devotional service, and they likes to always engage the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, even though in despite of all these odd conditions. So here the all the demoniacs or the demons surrounded by these devotees, Prahlad Maharaj and all these, the kids, all the fellow students, but they were always engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So this is, see that in the midst of this all odd condition, all the demons around, they cannot even utter a word, they will be killed like that. But they had such a faith in the Supreme Lord. So dear devotees, this is a great example for all of us. Even though we are here in this material world, always fearful of everything about it, but then we swayed away with this fearfulness or the material energy. So we are really not devotees. We are just pretending on it. But on the other hand, here, even the demoniac, the kids, the students, they became completely devoted to the Supreme Lord, and their devotion is increasing day by day, despite of all these odd conditions. In a helpless condition, they approached Hiranyakashipu and described in detail the effect of Prahlad preaching. So this is what it is like. When Srila Prabhupada went to Russia, so what happens? It was not allowed. In certain countries, it's not allowed. Preaching to the people is not allowed because of the mentality is completely different. They don't want to teach. When the communism was in prominence, then what happens? Nobody is allowed to practice their religion. So this is kind of, we can see that it is not that just somebody says something. Everything you can see in Srimad Bhagavad. Everything you can see in Srimad Bhagavad. So similarly, then they are not allowed. They are not allowed. But even though in these old conditions, Prahlad Maharaj was preaching and teaching about the Supreme Lord, the transcendental truth, so that whoever is taking this, their life will be relieved. Life will be completely free from all these material conditions. So this is why preaching is very important. Srila Prabhupada says, preaching is the essence, right? Utility is the principle, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, and purity is the force, preaching is the essence, utility is the principle, and then one more. So the preaching. So Srila Prabhupada emphasized on the preaching because of that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, Jare deko tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Wherever you go, preach about Krishna, because of when the moment we hear the Krishna, then it eradicates all our sinful reactions which has accumulated tons, millions of lifetime dear devotees. So this way, then Prahlad Maharaj was preaching and teaching and glorifying the Supreme Lord, but these teachers of Shanda and Amarka became so afraid of, and then they reported to Hiranyakashipu what was going on with the Prahlad Maharaj. After hearing of this, Hiranyakashipu decided to kill his son, Prahlad. So he decided his own son. So this is what it is. No matter what, whether it is son or parents and father, we can see that the news in the everyday news, the son killed the parents and parents killed the son, the brother killed the co-brother, and the wife killed husband kills wife. So much of going on in this world, so much, if you can see that. So this is the Kali Yuga and the Rampat, and it's so much, spreading everywhere. No meaning of relationship, no meaning of anything. And think about that. A father is trying to kill a child. Why? Because of the child is not following not with the, in the demoniac way. Because of the Hiranyakashipu is completely under the spell of this material energy. He's in the Maya, he's completely captured and he does not understand or realize. But on the other hand, he's telling, Prahlad Maharaj is telling the truth and the reality and the pure science of the Supreme Lord. And the Hiranyakashipu was saying that I am the Lord. Prahlad says, you are not the Lord. The Lord of Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. This was. So how can we say that the mortal body, the person comes in from the birth, from the womb? Hiranyakashipu took birth from this mother, Didhi. And how can one can say that he took the birth from the womb and all the demons and he's killing around and claiming that I'm the Lord. I'm the Lord. So, but Prahlad says that you are not the Lord, you are mortal, you are going to die. So you have to take a penance, you have to bring, you have to please the Lord Brahma to get all the boon. And then once you received all the boons, then you became so much powerful and proud because of your false ego and ahangar. Then you are acting this way, but you are in a wrong path. So Supreme Lord is Vishnu. You are not the Vishnu. After hearing all this, Hiranyakashipu became so angry, and he's against his own son. His own son. And especially children are very innocent. When they are at 4 years or 5 years old, whatever they say is out of innocence, out of their purity that say. Then even though that he cannot even understand that his 5-year-old child, Prahlad is saying all this, and his innocence, and here on the father and otherwise, and he is ready to kill his own son because he is not able to tolerate even the name of Supreme Lord. This is the extreme condition in this world, dear devotees. We should understand this extreme conditions of. There are so many people they don't even like to hear. When you go for book distribution and all, some people say, "Oh, just wait 1 minute of they will just run away." Oh no, we don't want to hear anything. There's so much. So this way the world is. So we should not be kind of part of this material, these clutches like this. So then what happened? Hiranyakashipu was so angry that Prahlad Maharaj fell down at his feet and said many things just to pacify him. But he was unsuccessful in satisfying his demoniac father. So Prahlad Maharaj was saying lot of things, to Hiranyakashipu, but he's not even ready to hear anything because of he is so much angry. As a typical demon, began to advertise himself as being greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Prahlad Maharaj challenged him, saying that Hiranyakashipu was not God, and began to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, declaring that Lord is all pervading, that everything is under him, and that no one is equal to or greater than him. Thus, he requested his father to submissive to that omnipresent Supreme Lord. So this was Prahlad Maharaj was telling when Hiranyakashipu asked, "What did you learn?" And then also when Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill, Prahlad Maharaj was requesting, "Don't do this mistake, don't do this one. And you are not the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is Vishnu. He is omnipresent, he is omnipotent, and he is omniscient. He is omnipresent, he is everywhere. Omnipresent means he is always there, present in every. There is nothing, there is not even a single moment of time. He is not present. He is always present. He is not omnipresent. He is everywhere. He is there. He is omnipotent. He is full of potential. There is nothing that one can go beyond the potential of Supreme Lord. Or nobody can claim that I am the Supreme. So Hiranyakashipu was claiming on the other hand that I am the Supreme, I am the most powerful. This is out of foolishness and out of ignorance that one says that. So like that, dear devotees, there are so many instances in our life that we say that, oh, I am so and so. I am so and so. That means there is nobody beyond that. Nobody is, I am the most supreme one. I am the most, educated one. I am the most powerful one. I have the most wealthy man. I'm the most beautiful man. I'm the most powerful man. I'm the most famous man in this world. So this is ignorance. This is foolishness. This is demoniac mentality. We should not be. So we are learning, we are listening all these wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, Prahlad Maharaj. We should learn that, listening and learning out of it. So we should learn that, all these things. So when Prahlad Maharaj said that the Supreme Lord Vishnu is omnipotent, omnipresent, he is everywhere, he is the beyond, he is the supreme, he is full of potency and the knowledge. You are not the Supreme Lord. This is the truth. This is coming out from the very innocent words of the like a boy, like a child, because of he is very pure. He understood this from the Narasimhadev, from a pure devotee of the Lord. That's why when we hear this from a pure devotee of the Lord, it goes to the heart. No circumstance can change that kind of situation. They'll be always there to hear and to understand. His understanding will be very pure. So it's very important that dear devotees, that we should hear all the time. And then Prahlad Maharaj was even requesting to Hiranyakashipu, you please surrender and submit to that Supreme Lord, oh my father. And hearing all this, Hiranyakashipu becomes so much of angry, his anger, like he was, breaking his tooth, and then his, here, and his eyes became so red, and the fire even coming out from his body, and because trembling with this anger. We know that what happened then after that. So this is a part one and part two. The part two will complete tomorrow, and tomorrow how Hiranyakashipu is being slayed by the Lord Narasimha. This is a beautiful section. So we'll take tomorrow and we'll continue that tomorrow. And thank you so much, dear devotees, for being there and so nicely. And this is our good fortune that we are going through this, this beautiful section of the Supreme Lord, and how the Lord is very merciful to his devotees. And we learn a lot of this out from this, this section. So this Narasimha Chaturdashi is coming, and we are getting into that mood of welcoming the Lord Narasimhadev to eradicate, to get to pierce into our heart, and to remove all our anarthas from our heart, so that we can welcome the Lord. And then that's why we are continuing this. So thank you so much, dear devotees. That part two, and will be tomorrow. That Lord Narasimhadev appearance, and then killing the Hiranyakashipu. So thank you so much, and we'll stop here as it's 8:09. So anything is there, devotees? Any comments, reflections, anything that you would like to add? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, nice class. You have explained very well. I have one question. How many
Yes.
years Prahlad remain in the womb of the Kayadu?
Same time, this was happened in Satya Yuga, Mataji. So in Satya Yuga, as it's mentioned, that is Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu came back, right? So Hiranyakashipu went for penances for quite long years. And then also this is happened not in the earthly plane, like that we can say that, right? This is in the heavenly years. So there is quite long time. And when Hiranyakashipu came back, and then took the mother Kayadu and Prahlad Maharaj into the palace. So I mean, compared to the earthly calculations, there may be differences when we calculate in the Satya Yuga. There could be a longer period of time, not exactly like 1 month or 36 weeks or something like that. So there could be differences. So yeah, I mean, it's not like exactly like the 36 weeks in the human or in the earthly planet like that. So there could be more longer years. That's why even when under the shelter of Kayadhu, when the shelter of Narada Muni, then Hiranyakashipu left, and then after came back, and then took this Prahlad and mother Kayadu back to his palace. And then that's where the Prahlad Maharaj was started to learn all these things. So in the womb, yes, I mean, it is in the heavenly calculations, Mataji. So 1 year,
Okay.
it could be many more years in the earthly calculations. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So also this is a divine child, and Narada Muni was saying, Indra was saying, and everybody was seeing all this. This is a divine child. So yes, it took not exactly like in the 36 weeks in the human in the earthly timing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat
Very
pranam.
nice class, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank
The same question relevant to Niru Mataji's
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
but the austerities he performed, right?
Hiranyakashipu. Yeah.
Hiranyakashipu for a long time.
Long time.
But Kayadu was carrying the baby that long, or it was less? We
Yeah,
don't.
that was in the heavenly time being is
So it's
different from the
confusing.
earthly time being, right? So that earthly time is
This is earthly, that is heavenly. Okay.
yeah, it's in the heavenly.
Oh, oh, okay. Okay. So it could be less there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, earthly is, and heavenly is kind of long years, That's
So it
shit.
will be equivalent to this and that, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I got it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Anything else? Anybody else? Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, this is
Hare Krishna.
Roshni.
Hare Krishna Mataji. And how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for the lecture. It was wonderful. I think one of the questions that I have is, you were mentioning Mother Kayadu, in like the previous question. I think my question is when Hiranyakashipu was, abusing Prahlad Maharaj and trying to like made multiple attempts to take his life, even though, he was saved by the Lord. Where was Mother Kayadu in all of this? Is there anything that captures like how she was feeling in the moment of like her, you know, her husband wanting to kill their son? Like, because you just hear about like the stories of like the pastime of Hiranyakashipu just like trying to kill his son because he's envious of the Lord and stuff, but it never really like we never really see like Mother Kayadu's side of was she anxious, like what was going through her mind
Yes,
during that
yes.
time.
Yeah. So also the complete the pastimes of Lord Narasimhadev appearance not only in Bhagavad, there is also another Puranas also mentioned that. So there are many references not only in Bhagavad, there is also other books also mention about the appearance of Lord Narasimhadev and the reason for it. So it's mentioned that his mother Kayadu was so much anxious because of Kayadu was a very pure devotee, also under the protection of Naradadev, and Lord Naradadev also instructed Mother Kayadu about. But a woman in that condition is very helpless. In the as a Hiranyakashipu was completely demoniac, and then as a wife of, like we know that Mandodari of Ravana, Mandodari was many times requesting Ravana to release the Mother Sita, don't do all this. But then what happens if one person is completely demoniac? Nobody can do anything. Similarly, Mother Kayadu was requesting to Hiranyakashipu, relieve my child, don't do this one. And even Mother Kayadu was aware of that when Hiranyakashipu was poisoning, Prahlad Maharaj. And Mother Kayadu was praying and fasting and praying to the Lord. And these are the devotees praying to the Lord and all the things. So yes, when there is a pastime when occurs, when something has to happen, all this goes through. And even though Mother Kayadu was very much astonishing and anxious and worrying and fearful, but also Mother Kayadu was also a devotee of the Lord. Mother Kayadu also had such a faith in the Lord. So every time when Prahlad Maharaj became saved from the thrown off from the cliff, and the Lord protected, he put it in a big pit of the snakes, and he was completely relieved from there. And then the Kayadu was also had a faith in the Supreme Lord and praying to the Supreme Lord. So, but on the other side, Kayadu was a mother. Always, when something happens to his child, mother is so anxious, so much of anxiety and worries, always was there. And then, but there is that Kayadu's words is never had anybody. And Hiranyakashipu was never listened to such, people. And Hiranyakashipu was never listened to such. So even Kayadu was even on the fear and hidingly doing all these things and the praise to the Supreme Lord. So like that. Yes, Maya Kayadu was aware of everything and so much worries and anxiety, so much in, because of his little child. So which mother will tolerate all this? No mother will tolerate all this, but helpless. And but hidingly praying to the Lord at the same time. And that's why also Mother Kayadu then became also famous, by this, all the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer that gives like a lot of context. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Very nice. Anything else? Anybody else? Any other comments, reflections, or questions? Thank you, dear devotees. Yes. So this is the fact that so it's giving us lots of realizations and teaches us and gives us, comparing to what we go through, what is this world, how one can become, free from all this, and how one can, what is our what is the purpose of our existence, the constitutional positions, what are we, what we are, what we're supposed to do. Everything gives us. So nice. So we should dedicate, we should not just listen, oh, it was so nice, wonderful, but how we can apply that in our life. I mean, practice, like Prahlad Maharaj says, practice and become devotees. Devotional service is the supreme everything. So one should engage and dedicated hearing and chanting, engage in the devotional service and purify ourselves from these clutches, and then come to that platform of real understanding and realization, and then come to the perfect stage of hearing and the don't too much involved in these material activities. And naturally, when we become devotees, naturally we'll be free from all these material clutches and entanglements and liberated state, and then follow the instructions of the spiritual master and the devotees. This way, we will be completely pure and will come to that perfect stage. That's our ultimate pure stages of or state of our existence. So, of course, as always says, there is gross body, settled body, and a spiritual body. The spiritual body is a spiritual, that's a body, that's the form of the Supreme Lord. So we will also come to that form. That's the purpose. And hearing all this, it's not that just, okay, there's some stories here and there and go back. No, we should apply it in our life and practice it in our life and realize it in our life and experience with it in it. So one can experience this. So the spiritual experience or spiritual potency or the bhakti shakti, when we acquire it, when we get it, it's a different level and different platform. One can really relish and experience it. And that's where, devotees are so wonderful in this world. They have that experiences that's visible, that we can see from the devotees. So that's why take the shelter of a devotee, follow the instructions of a devotee, and always, hang on him, hang on that devotee. Always follow, always, so this way we will not be touched by the smile, right? So always, we'll be under the protection and the shelter of the Lord and his devotees. That's where we have to be. So like Prahlad Maharaj, always shelter, always completely, complete faith in the Lord. No what, no worries. Even at the midst of the fire, just chanted the holy name, just remembered the Lord. So Lord is there. So this is the science of Krishna consciousness. This is the science of devotee and the Supreme Lord. So we should always aware of it, always, keen on it, and always realize it, and always engage in and experience that the topmost of all our existence. It is possible. So that's why we, even within this world, that we can engage in the pure devotional service, even within this world, even in the midst of this Maya, like Prahlad. So that is that should be that's why we are learning this one, so that somewhere or other that we get that potency, that Shakti, so that will be one day that we can reach to that platform. But we should practice. We should put it in our life, and if we don't do it, then we are the losers. We will lose this, our existence. Okay, thank you so much. Stop here, and we'll continue the second part tomorrow. Again, okay. Thank you so much. If there is nothing else, let's conclude today's class. Let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama Rama,
Ram Hare Hare.
Hare.
Vancha Kalpatarupash
Pratipascha
Vasidam
Vacha
Padidana
Pranam
Pavadebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavanta ki jai.
Jai
Dara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai
Nanda Gaudi Vaishnavanta ki jai.
Jai
Gaura Premanande Hare.
Hare Hare Bol.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.